Okay, hey guys, this is Ron Douglas. Welcome to Email Alchemy. We'll be getting started like right now. I'm going to bring in my special guest. For those of you who don't know, Daniel Levis is one of the top copywriters in the world, in my opinion. He's a freestyle copywriter, a marketing coach, and a consultant. He specializes in creating sales promotions, primarily in the health, financial, self-help, and business opportunity fields. If you're an investor, you've probably seen his work for the Motley Fool, the Safe Money Report, Real Wealth Report, Gold Newsletter, and a lot of different investment newsletters, the Street Authority, you name it. He's out there working with these large companies, expressing his copywriting skills and getting paid. If you've ever looked for a business opportunity, you probably also seen him. And if you bought a self-help course or been interested in information for bettering your health, you may have seen his work with Mark Victor Hansen, Robert Allen, Steven Sinatra, and a bunch of other people. He's also collaborated with high-profile people in the direct marketing world to create a number of highly acclaimed online marketing courses. People like Dan Kennedy, Dr. Joe Vitale, and people from the movie The Secret. Dr. Joe was from The Secret as well. So today, Daniel will be teaching Module 1. So you're actually going to get real content tonight. This is Module 1 from his Email Alchemy Track 1 training, with a real-world case study of how they raked in $400,000 in just 16 days with little more than just cheap and dirty email traffic. So from there, I'll let Daniel take it away and kind of introduce himself some more.
All right. Well, thanks for the introduction, Ron. I'm really excited to be with you guys here today, teaching you what I know to be the most underexploited yet profitable marketing strategy that's available to just about anybody who's involved in online marketing today. Doesn't matter who you are. You can take advantage of this. Before we get underway officially, though, I want to do a little housekeeping. I hope you have the workbook handy, printed off and at the ready. If you're a printer, you can grab it. You can print it out at the link you see on the screen there. It's case sensitive, capital E, capital A, lowercase workbook, just like you see on the screen there. If you're not at a printer, just grab some good old pad of paper, pen, piece of paper, so you can take some detailed notes. Go ahead and do that now, one way or the other, because what I'm going to be teaching you here today is the actual, as Ron says, the actual introductory module from one of my most valuable courses. It's called Email Alchemy. And before we begin, real quick story about me by way of introduction and to help put some context around what we're going to be talking about here today. I went full-time online in November of 2004, about 11 years ago. I had done well as a salesperson, but I just absolutely hated working for other people. And my first foray into online marketing was affiliate marketing. And then when I went full-time, I started doing marketing for other people as well. And what I discovered was that in both of those areas, it wasn't until I started building an email list and marketing to that list that I had any real success. With affiliate marketing, at first I was doing what they call direct linking, buying pay-per-click ads and driving traffic directly to various affiliate offers. And I soon realized that that was a dead end. I was barely making a profit, and I was using my money and my efforts to build other people's lists. When I was doing my marketing consulting, doing my copywriting business, at first I was cold calling in local businesses and cold emailing not so local businesses and getting nickeled and dimed, doing plenty of work and hardly making any money at all doing it. And what turned it all around for me was breaking the sale down into two distinct steps. In affiliate marketing, step one, get them on a list. Get them on an email list, build a relationship. Step two, make affiliate offers. When selling marketing consulting and copywriting services, step one, get them on a list and build a relationship. Step two, sell them my marketing consulting and copywriting products and services. And things got even better in this area when I focused on clients who had email lists. I could go in, I could generate sales for a client without them having any out-of-pocket expenses to implement my marketing. Much, much more lucrative than helping them with lead generation or pay-per-click or social media or any other kind of marketing. So I went from barely making ends meet, working for hundreds of dollars per job, per assignment, to writing a single email campaign and making as much as $60,000, actually more than $60,000. This wasn't even the biggest one that I've done. And I made that money in about 3 weeks. So 3 weeks work, $60,000, not a bad thing. And making as much as $100,000 a month selling my own products to my own email list. And that doesn't even include affiliate marketing, which I still do to this day. I love affiliate marketing. So if you're on this webinar wondering what it's going to take for you to go full-time selling your products or services online, whether it's your own products or as an affiliate, or whether maybe you sell a marketing service of some kind, or any service at all, really. Maybe you're a coach or a consultant or a freelancer of some sort in some other niche apart from marketing. Makes no difference. The key to your profitability lies in the building, the nurturing, and the monetization of an email list. That is the cornerstone of success. And I know that most of you know the basics of building an email list. I know that. But what we're going to be learning here today is even more important than that. And that is how to monetize an email list. That's what Email Alchemy is all about. And this training is for selling products, it's for selling services, lead generation, driving people to a brick and mortar store, getting the phone to ring, whatever it is that you need to get people to do, this will work for you, provided they have an email address. And that's pretty much everybody these days. So it doesn't matter if you have a big list, doesn't matter whether you're just starting out and you're building one. In fact, it's even more important if you're building one, because when you know how to monetize a subscriber, it allows you to fund your list building efforts. You can buy traffic. You can attract joint venture partners. If your system, your funnel, your sales campaigns convert. And a lot of that hinges on email. And all of this training is reality-based. You're going to see real-life case studies of Email Alchemy campaigns. You're going to see clients. You're going to see practitioners, so that you know this is real. And as we said, this is the first module. It's a 5-module series of webinars where we're going to be looking at the big picture, what Email Alchemy is and what it isn't. We're going to dispel some common myths that people believe about email marketing. You're going to learn the 3 bedrock principles of Email Alchemy and how they work. I'm going to show you how to use Email Alchemy templates, and we're going to do some open forum Q&A if we have time to do that, okay? So whether you're here to learn about how to pluck gold out of your own list or make money plucking it out of somebody else's, if you take this training seriously, this is my promise to you. It is going to be one of the most eye-opening, valuable, and rewarding trainings you've ever experienced, bar none. And I ask you now to completely shut off and shut out any distractions. Please do not take this training half-ass. In fact, I'd like you to disconnect if you're going to be checking your email or your social media junk while I'm teaching, because you're literally robbing yourself if you do that. Whatever else is fractioning your mind right now, set it aside. Give this your full and undivided attention. And I want to reward you for that. I want to reward you for dialing in that kind of superior attention, both with higher sales and profits in the weeks, months, and years to come, and instantly as well with a whole bunch of awesome free gifts at the end of today's training. Everybody who stays right to the end is going to get part 1 of my favorite list of opening lines, subject lines, similes, metaphors, idioms, copy checklists, all of the various devices that I use in the emails. And this is to help you to kickstart your email marketing creative juices. And I should also add that the replay for this event, both the Q&A and the link to this very special bonus, is going to be edited out, only for live attendees. So make sure and stay right through to the end. I promise you it'll be well worth it. So what in the heck is Email Alchemy anyway? Well, we all know what email is. So let's look at the word alchemy for a minute. Metaphorically, the word is used to define a power or a process of transmuting something common into something special. And it implies an inexplicable or mysterious transmuting. If it weren't so, then everybody would be doing it, right? And the special would become not so special. So keep that in mind when I ask you to stretch yourself and learn something new, something that may actually conflict with an existing belief. We're going to take email marketing to a whole new and unexpected level. We're going to take the common expectations and beliefs about what it means to have a list, an email list, what kind of wealth can be generated from that list. We're going to shatter them so that you can spin unseen, unrealized wealth from existing assets, whether that asset is your own list or the list of a client or a potential client if you're into selling marketing services. And this is where the inexplicable or mysterious transmuting comes in. Inexplicable or mysterious because just about everything most people think that what they believe about email marketing is just dead wrong. Dead wrong. I love this quote from Andy Grove, founder of Intel. When everyone knows something to be true, nobody knows nothing. Now there's a guy who understood alchemy. He turned sand into billions, and you guys are going to learn how to turn tiny little electrons, electrical impulses, into millions. And the first step to profiting from email alchemy is to liberate yourself from the sway of these 5 commonly held myths about email marketing that everybody thinks are true, but are actually false. Stuff that people believe for no good reason other than everybody else believes it. Fallacies that you have to put under the light of reason and dispel. Get them out of your head before you can enact alchemy on a list. And to be fair, they're not actually fallacies. It's just that it's very easy to take things out of context. And when you do that, you're misled. To take something that's true in one limited context and then mistakenly apply it to another where it's not true. We're going to look at both sides of the coin, right? The kernel of truth and also the fallacy that may well be killing the results that you enjoy from your online business. I'm going to take you inside the inner workings of real-world campaigns, the most recent of which was for something called the 3X Accelerator. It was developed and marketed by John Benson. We were working with a small list, about 25,000 names, and within a 16-day period, we were able to extract over $400,000 from that list, way more than $400,000. And that's around, if you do the math, it's about $16 per name, over $16 per name, and we did it in just 16 days. Now that's not necessarily typical, but you know what? Anything less than $3 per name, even with products that have been sold with traditional methods weeks prior, is almost unheard of with the strategies that you're going to be learning here today. How many of you would like to mine $3 per name out of your email list and do it selling a product that you've already sold before multiple times that you thought was pretty much tapped out, and do it in about 2 weeks' time? Type the word yes into the question box if that sounds appealing to you.
Yeah, I want to know how to do that consistently.
Yeah,
25,000. 25,000. Was that was that a customer list, or was it mostly just people that signed up for free stuff?
It was actually it was the non-buyers from a product launch that he did a few months earlier.
Wow.
So he did the 3 pre-launch videos and then the VSL to sell it and that whole drill, which is great stuff. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But he had 9,000 leads that he generated from affiliate joint venture partners driving people to the pre-launch content. And these are the 9,000 people that didn't buy. The rest of those names, I helped them a little bit. I sent some traffic as well. Okay, good. I can see you guys are a good bunch. You got lots of yeses in the question box. Well, again here, do the math, right? Even under this kind of handicap condition, this is reselling an old product. List had already seen it, already bought it, even selling affiliate products, and especially selling your services or your consulting. You can easily earn a 6-figure income with a list of just 1,500 names. 1,500 names times $3 per name equals $4,500 twice per month equals $9,000 per month. Times 12, it's $108,000 a year, 6 figures, 1,500 names. Does that sound appealing to you? I sure hope so. I sure hope there's some yeses coming in the chat box there. And without killing yourself, without killing yourself doing these fancy launches with all those videos and the lengthy sales letters and trying to herd up an army of joint venture partners like herding cats, right? All the rest of that hoopla, just quick and dirty email. And guys, listen, I'm purposely going to show you handicap numbers here, conservative numbers. This 3X Accelerator, that was not even an entirely new product. Imagine what you can do with a fresh new product, a launch-worthy product. So let's get into the myths. These are important. First myth, open rate is a key performance indicator. Ever heard that before? Do you believe it? Pretty much everybody believes that. I mean, I just laugh. I'm in these mastermind groups and I see people are bragging about their open rates that they get on their emails. It's like penis envy, right? Somebody bragging about getting a 40% open rate. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Somebody else, they're getting like 26% open rate. Somebody else is crying in their soup because they only got a 14.7% open rate on their latest mailing. And I feel like saying, why are you wasting your time looking at this? When was the last time you took an open rate percentage to the bank and tried to cash it? I mean, I routinely pull $3 per name from lists with open rates that have less than 10%. Not $3 per click, which many people would consider, really good. $3 per name. Want a 40% open rate? Email your list once a month and rarely ask them to buy anything. How much money are you likely to make? The truth is, the guy or gal who couldn't care less about their open rate, who gently persuades in virtually every email they send, is going to make a whole lot more money than the marketer with the high open rate. Why? Because you're mailing more often, and because you're actively engaging the buyers, not just the freeloaders and the tire kickers. If somebody on your list is serious about gaining some benefit you happen to be lucky enough to be selling, serious enough to lay money on the line, they demand serious justification for doing so. And therefore, they welcome vigorous yet seductive persuasion. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, we want to get our emails opened. Obviously, that's why we agonize over subject lines, but never at the cost of keeping our open rates high, because that's not the point. And never at the expense of making a sale either. What's the point of getting a huge open rate if nobody reads the email once they open it? I like to say you can put the word fire in the subject line. Lots of people will open your email. Well, so what? Unless you're selling fire retardant, Or you can create some kind of a satisfying tie-in to what you are selling. What does it matter if people open your email? And here's the writer-downer, guys. Here's the writer-downer. Here is why fixation on open rates, that everybody has this fixation, it's very dangerous, very, very dangerous, because it discourages vigorous mailing and vigorous selling. Marketers fall prey to the psychological impact of rejection, right? They see their open rates falling. They think this people aren't interested, They get timid. They back off the hammer with their mailings, and their sales go down in flames as a result of doing that. And yes, you can certainly burn out a list if you don't know what you're doing, but not when you properly execute what I'm going to be showing you here today. Look at this. Slide's not working? Look at this. Okay. These are the opens, the clicks, the complaints, the unsubscribes on the $16 per name, $400,000 plus 3X Accelerator promotion that John sent to his list. 26 emails sent over a 16-day period. 26 emails in 16 days. So, yes, open and click-through rate are going to fall when you mail a lot, from low 20s to mid-teens in this case. But if you fall into the trap of using open rates as a key performance indicator, you will never, ever get these kind of results. Why? Because people need to be repeatedly reminded and finessed and seduced into parting with their money. Just because they're not opening your emails, that doesn't mean they're not interested. They're just busy. You need to find a way to mail them more and get their attention, and email alchemy is a way to do it. Stop looking at open rates every time you mail something. Don't even look at it, because it'll freak you out and you'll shoot yourself in the foot. If getting a 10% open rate versus a 20% open rate means you get 10 times the money, would you do it?
For sure.
When would you start? The other thing that freaks list owners out is when their click-through rates plummet. They're monitoring them closely, managing by them. And again, when was the last time your bank accepted click-through percentages at the teller wicket? Click-through rates don't matter. They don't. What matters is why people are clicking on your links. Are they casually curious, or are they ready to do something that moves the sale forward? There's a huge difference. And what most marketers do, common flawed wisdom, they rush to the click. in the email, right? Or they try to trick the person into clicking the link, or they rely so much on curiosity. Let me repeat. The goal with Email Alchemy is not to get them to click on the link. It's to pre-frame the click. Pre-frame the click. So the person is clicking with sales advancing intent to opt in or to buy, or at the very least engage deeply with what's on that landing page. Maybe fill out a form and request a consultation, whatever your thing is. And when you do this effectively, you naturally get low click-through rates. Look at the click-through rates on John's mailings here. This column here is the ratio of clicks to opens. This means that for every 100 people who opened, only 10 to 20 click through to the landing page during the first half of the campaign. It gets worse, right? It goes down to as low as 7%, 8%, 9%, right? But guess where 50% of the money came from? $200,000 on the very last day. $200,000 in one day. Why? Because of the sustained awareness that was built up by those 26 emails. The longer you engage the list, the more you will sell to them, particularly when it's a high dollar, high ticket product, high ticket commitment. The higher the commitment and the higher the degree of behavioral change that's required in order to consume your product or service, the more emails you need to send. Here's another set of data from a different campaign. This block up here at the top, these are invites to a webinar. And the block at the bottom is the follow-up series. 9 invite emails. Is that a lot of invite emails? It is. I mean, yeah. I mean, most marketers are going to send you, what, 3 emails about a webinar, right? Well, guess what? 9 emails made possible by what you're going to be learning in this course doubles attendance. Would you like to get twice as many people to your next webinar if you do webinars? Well, this is how you do it. Or if you help other people fill up webinars, very lucrative thing to do. And look at the open and the click-through rate data. Open rate more consistent this time. It's 11 to 13%. Nothing to write home about if open rate's your thing. But look at the click to open rates, right? Sub 10% after the first couple of blasts. And you know, most marketers would take that as a sign. They take that as a sign to stop mailing. I don't care about dismal click-through rates. It doesn't bother me at all. I mail them 5 more times. I mail them 5 times. I write these emails in a way that makes them interesting and entertaining and informative even to the people who already signed up. You know what that does? Not only do I double my sign-up rates, but how would you like to get a much higher show-up rate too? If you do this right, it gives you a nice 50% or more boost in your show-up rates because people forget. They get sidetracked. Don't let them. Look at this. 5 emails on day 7, the day of the webinar. 5 emails in one day. Then look at the follow-up emails after the webinar. We have this precipitous drop in click-through rate. Oh my God, look at it. Look at it, 6.1%. Oh my God. But look at the sales. They're running inverse to the trend in click-through rate, up to $111 per click, $79,000 in sales from under 15,000 names in just 2 weeks. That's over $5 per name. What could you buy with $5 per name from your email list every couple of weeks? How would that change your life? Man. And again, selling a used product, the list had already seen, already bought, and doing it despite alarmingly low open rates and click-through rates. In fact, doing it because of low open rates and click-through rates, not being afraid of that. And I don't want you to take this out of context. I'm not saying that a lower open rate or a lower click-through rate is the goal, because it isn't. The goal is what? Sales. Sales, right? Open rate, click-through rate, immaterial, not key performance indicators. Yet most people manage by them because that's what all the experts are talking about. That's what they're telling you to do. And then they wonder why, they wonder why they're not making any money, people who are doing this. Because when you manage by open rate, when you manage by click-through rate, it makes you do dumb things. The exact opposite of what you ought to be doing. You'll write your emails the wrong way. Subject lines will be all wrong. You won't mail enough. You'll get scared. You'll quit before you get to the money. Isn't it worth getting out from under these pervasive myths if it means dramatically increasing your cash flow and your profits? If you sell marketing of any kind to other businesses, imagine the money that you could make targeting businesses with existing lists and showing them how to 10x their sales with these strategies. Email marketing myth number 3, short copy is best. You hear this one a lot, and I expect this because some expert has tested it. Short copy gets the click. So what? Again, when was the last time you cashed a click at the bank? This whole debate, this long copy, short copy debate, old as dirt, never go away. The short-sighted short copy camp will always think they're right. You know, ask any Tom, Dick, or Harriet about how to write an email, long copy or short. What are they going to tell you? Keep it short. People don't have the attention span these days. And they're right if you write the kind of sloppy drivel that most marketers put out there. However, when you apply email alchemy techniques and strategies, you're going to realize enormous gains in your financial results by moving the majority of the heavy lifting into the email. And that doesn't mean rambling, unfocused, irrelevant prose that bores and confuses people. It means tight, entertaining, enlightening, and persuasive copy that creates committed clicks. And getting that commitment can take a few words. Again, as evidence, I point you to this 119-page swipe file that I've given you. 26 emails, 119 pages. These emails range from about 700 words to over 1,100 words each. Is that a lot of writing? Yes, long copy sells. But when you sell in the email, you know what? You can often shorten your landing page. The landing pages that I use are typically about half as long as they would otherwise be. And next week, should you decide to invest in the rest of the email alchemy training, I'm going to give you a huge shortcut. I'm going to give you a set of templates that will allow you to quickly and easily create these campaigns without needing to write them from scratch, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But all I'm doing here is moving more of the persuasion into the emails because it's the most efficient and effective way to sell. And some of you probably heard of Robert Cialdini. You've heard of Robert Cialdini, right, Ron?
Yeah, sure.
Made a bestseller out of teaching us marketing folks about something called heuristics, irrational decision-making shortcuts that we all do. Things like scarcity and authority and reciprocity and liking and social proof and commitment and consistency and all that stuff, commitment and consistency. Hopefully you guys have heard of that. Well, here's a heuristic that Robert did not put in his book. It's called length is strength. Length is strength. People figure if somebody took the time to write this much interesting stuff about something, well, it's got to be good, right? And look where the links are placed. There's the first link there. It's 4 pages in. Only toward the end of the series, the links start to make their way into the top half of the email. Now, I'm not saying you should intentionally write emails any longer than you have to. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, you should write with a great deal of economy, and you should pack as much meaning into every single word as you possibly can, and you're going to learn how to do that in Module 2 and Module 3 of the training. But what I am saying here is that you should write enough to get the person reading engaged, get them excited, get them fully convinced that what you're suggesting they do is the ultimate no-brainer, that turning their back on your offer would be disastrous. That they need not just click on the link, but take action. Take action when they do. And that very well may mean 1,000 words, maybe more, or maybe not.
Kind of fully get them kind of warmed up for what they're about to see before they click anything.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, statistically, you see that you know, if you start measuring your success by click-through rate, by open rate, what are you going to do? You're going to write an email that doesn't do that. You know, just get them to the page and let the page take it from there. Well, statistically, you do the numbers, this way it just outperforms by an order of magnitude. Well, there's two sides to it. There's the committedness of the click, right? So the conversion is higher. And then you got to also mail more. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So, general rule of thumb real quick before we move on, you know, the more expensive the thing that you're selling, the more significant the transaction measured by the size of the investment, maybe also the degree of behavioral change required to consume whatever it is you're selling, the more you're going to need to write and the more emails you're going to need to send. This particular case study here is a $2,000 investment. That's a pretty significant chunk of change to pull, right? There's a lot of words here. But the key thing is you write to sell some specific action that advances the sale. You do it in the email. Don't sell the click. Sell the action. Because look at it this way. Every time you break somebody's train of thought with a click, you run the risk of losing them, right? That 5 to 10 seconds that it takes to open up a web page, an additional 5 to 10 seconds it takes for that person to kind of orient themselves. What in the heck am I looking at here? That flushes away all kinds of precious attention, and attention is the most valuable marketing commodity there is. Why squander somebody's attention? Why squander, you know, thousands of people's attention unnecessarily? You know, don't move them out of that highly intimate, safe, and secure haven of their email program out into the open interwebs. Don't do that prematurely. You shouldn't do that. The gurus are wrong. Say yes if you want big-time marketing results with less effort. The typical guru approach is to put massive effort, massive expense into what? The landing page, right? Hollywood-style videos and all kinds of fancy graphics, right? And then short, curiosity-based emails to get you to click through and see the masterpiece. Well, I slaughter them with this long copy email approach. I get 3 times the revenue per click. Not only that, I get more clicks because my mailing frequency is just off the charts. And you can do very well with just a simple order form, no videos. So despite 119 pages of email, I'm actually doing less work. And I'm not to say that there's anything wrong with videos and webinars and things and, you know, put them together with Email Alchemy and you become unstoppable. It's just a question of resources, right? A typical product launch video sequence is about 2 hours of video. Well, 1 minute of video is at least 4 man-hours to create. You got to script it, you got to shoot it, you got to edit it, you got to render it for the web. It's 4 man-hours per minute. So 2 hours of video is like what? 480 man-hours to create? No wonder, you know, people love email. I could create one of these campaigns, even these massive, you know, Email Alchemy campaigns in a tiny fraction of the time that it takes to do the other dog and pony dance, right? Going to a simple order form, I do just as well, and I'll show you how you can do it too. Myth number 4, so-called internet marketing experts are telling you, you know, optimal email frequency, yeah, once or twice a week. It's just one of many media, right? Why do they say this? Because you'll wear out your welcome? You know, because email is just one of multiple different channels. You ought to be tweeting and Facebooking and Pinteresting and YouTubing and podcasting and blogging and all the rest of it. So there's no need to email your list more than a couple of times a week because you might piss people off. You might get a lot of unsubscribes. Well, I suppose, you know, in a certain context, there's maybe a kernel of truth in this. If you write boring emails or you write blatantly pitchy emails or incoherent emails, sure, you're going to wear out your welcome if you mail frequently. No doubt about it. And no matter how great your emails are, you are going to piss a few people off and they're going to unsubscribe. But think about who's going to unsubscribe. Who are the first people going to unsubscribe? It's going to be, they're going to get upset because you're mailing them too much. By and large, it's the non-buyers. It's the tire kickers. It's the freeloaders. And I suppose at some level this multi-channel argument may make sense, assuming you're a big, dumb company with staff out the wazoo and you're trying to build your brand. But in the guerrilla marketing world, the small business world where you and I live, and any clients that you may be working with most likely live, who has the time or the resources for such nonsense? I mean, look what would have happened here to John Benson's campaign if we had followed this common wisdom. Typical marketer would have mailed a half dozen times, right? Maybe made maybe a quarter as many sales and then given up and gone on to the next thing. 26 emails within a 16-day period. Did John wear out his welcome by mailing this much? Did he piss many people off? Actually, no, he didn't. Take a look at this. Hardly any opt-outs or complaints. Even when we were mailing them 3 and 4 times in one day, which we did several times before each webinar and on the final day. And look, hardly any complaints. Hardly anything. In case you're wondering, the complaint threshold according to AWeber is 0.1%, 1/10 of 1%. Right?
Well below that.
And look at the opt-outs. Very few opt-outs. You'll hear email marketing gurus that say, like, 1% opt-out rate is too high on a given mailing. Like, look at this. The absolute highest we hit here was like a tiny fraction of that. If you want to get technical, 0.1%, that means if you have a 10,000 name list and you send an email, you should get less than 10 complaints. And the highest we hit here, as far as complaints, is 40% of that limit. Most of the emails had half that. And don't make the fatal mistake of dismissing any of this data as being relevant only to internet marketing. Don't think this doesn't apply to even consumer niches. I've done this in all kinds of different niches and never once violated these limits. And every time I do, we double, we triple, we quadruple sales every single time. So write this down. More emails equals more money. Okay? You got it? Good. Myth number 5. Content marketing is a workable business model. According to this company called Eloqua, content marketing is essentially business relevant communications minus the selling. The folks over at the Content Marketing Institute explain that instead of pitching your products or services, you are delivering information that makes your buyer more intelligent. The essence of this content strategy is the belief that if we, as businesses, deliver consistent, ongoing, valuable information to buyers, they ultimately reward us with their business and loyalty. And this is a philosophy that's becoming incredibly popular right now. It's a trickle-down effect, right? Think tanks like this Eloqua and the Content Marketing Institute, which are primarily concerned with Fortune 500 companies. They proclaim content marketing as the be-all and end-all trend in marketing. They try to define the term, and then it gets picked up as a sexy new buzzword that proliferates all over the blogosphere, and what is essentially a big business, deep pocket branding strategy gets misinterpreted as being something overly relevant to small business people. And it's a very seductive lie. You want to know why? Because people have been programmed to abhor selling. And this content marketing thing means you don't have to. All you have to do is work away in a corner somewhere like a little elf, blogging your buns off and podcasting like mad, cranking out informative newsletters and making YouTube videos, tweeting and Facebooking, and people will reward you with their business and loyalty? Horseshit. Horseshit. All you're doing is turning yourself into you're turning yourself, or if you're doing this with a client, you're turning them into a content soup kitchen and training people to not buy. Instead of buying into the seductive siren song of content marketing, you should be uprooting all of the bad programming you took on as a child about what it means to sell and to make money. There's an old joke, Ron. Don't tell mama I'm a copywriter. She thinks I play piano in a whorehouse.
It's better than being a copywriter.
This is how people conceptualize selling, right? They think it's dirty. They think it's demeaning, manipulative, morally reprehensible, even those people who don't believe they harbor that belief. When selling is, in fact, one of the highest paying and most exalted activities on earth. A talented persuader out-earns doctors, lawyers, judges, dentists, university professors, surgeons. None of them have anything on you when it comes to the positive impact you can have in the world. None of them have anything on you when it comes to financial opportunity either. Why do you suppose that is? Well, why does a surgeon or a dentist get paid so highly? Because they have a rare skill that saves lives. Well, how many lives would they be saving if it weren't for the exceptionally skilled persuader who sold the high-tech equipment necessary to diagnose disease and to perform complex life-saving operations? How many lives would they be saving if they weren't vigorously sold on going to the most prestigious medical schools? Or how many lives would they be saving if nobody had sold the financial paper that was required to build the hospitals and fund all of the research that goes into the science of medicine? People who sell things are the engine of progress. We live in an interdependent society. It would absolutely grind to a halt without us. That would not progress, would atrophy, would decay if it weren't for the noble, highly skilled, and indispensable persuader. It's a role you should be very, very proud of. You know, if not for the salespeople and the marketing machines behind them, doctors would still be bloodletting, and you'd be getting your teeth pulled at the barber shop. And this popular definition of content marketing, business communications without the selling, it's a shameless con job. Doesn't work. Paying for things is healthy. People appreciate what they pay for. They take action. They grow as human beings. You're actually doing them a grave disservice by providing these endless streams of free content and never asking them to buy anything, thinking it's not necessary. Business communications without the selling. You need to stay away from that seductive lie. You need to sell with pride. In fact, you need to redefine your whole conception of this phrase, content marketing. From now on, I want you to do a little swish pattern. Every time you hear this word, swish away the perverse accepted definition that's popularized by people who want to profit from your flawed programming, and swish in its true meaning. Because true content marketing is the highest and most noble form of persuasion. It's selling in a way that is at once enlightening, entertaining, and persuasive. There doesn't have to be this artificial distinction between content and persuasion. Haven't the best ads throughout history always taken that approach? Offering usable information to the consumer while simultaneously selling, persuading, mixing the two together, elegantly, seamlessly. Well, this is precisely the secret sauce here. This is what Email Alchemy does. It's a radically different approach to what you've been hearing about. Type yes into the question box if you think so. And if you're struggling to make the money that you deserve from your online marketing efforts, if you're struggling to gain the freedom of lifestyle that you desire, if you're struggling to make an impact and a difference in the world, it's not your fault. It's just that you're copying lazy and ineffective email marketing methods that may work for others because of their position in the marketplace and the brand equity that they've been lucky enough to build up over a period of time, or by the sheer size of their email list, but they can't possibly work for you because you don't have those luxuries. How much are you losing by following a flawed model? Well, if it's $3, $5, $12, $16 per subscriber per month, or twice a month even, do the math. Those losses are huge. And the opportunities are huge too, because how long will you be chasing the leaders in your niche if your marketing is more effective than theirs? Pretty soon you'll be the leader. Well, think of all of the businesses out there that are doing the same thing. Think of the opportunity they're squandering. That if you come along and you show them the light, they're very happy to pay you. All right, so let's look at the 3 core principles of email alchemy. And I have to warn you, this is the part of the webinar where things get a little heavy. So I want you to really lean in here. Turn up the dial on your attention. Take some notes so that you can apply some of these things the next time you sit down to create some marketing. Principle number 1, make the sale in the email. Now, I've given you plenty of reasons to do it. I've given you proof positive that it works like gangbusters. Now I'm going to touch on how it is done. We're going to look at subject line, opening, deepening, pitch, and call to action. This is the 5-step email alchemy formula. I'm going to give you the big picture today. We're going to drill into the nitty-gritty in Module 2. And here are the subject lines from John's case study. And what you'll notice about them is that I'm not big on pure curiosity subject lines. I want to do more with the subject line than get the email open. Of course, I want to get attention. I want to get curiosity, but I also want to make a tie-in. I want to make a selling tie-in, which is much more challenging. It requires more space. I want the person to open the email with some sense of what's inside. It's fine to send a blind subject line once in a while, like, hey, check this out, or just the person's name as the subject line. Those get open. or something indistinct. It's okay once in a while, but one of the key reasons that email alchemy is so incredibly effective is the increased frequency of the emails. And if you stick to a single theme over a sustained period of time, that's where the magic is. And you just can't do that very well with blind subject lines that, that may get they'll get the email open, but they don't communicate a sustained linkage from one email to the next. And we're going to go into the deep dive into this whole psychology of what I call linkage in Module 4. But for now, take a look at the hooks in these subject lines. And actually, before we do that, a little backstory on what we're selling here and who we're selling it to. The target is skewed male, about I'm going to say 45 plus age, largely internet marketers, many of them selling consumer information products. And John Benson's 3X Accelerator, that's a tool for making sales copy that they need to sell their products and services, the video sales letter. And I interviewed John, and I came to the conclusion that the dominant values that drive these people are freedom and power. Freedom and power, being their own boss, independent, making their own way in the world, right? Having the power to create wealth out of thin air on their own terms and being able to do it without being a slave to the keyboard. And I actually show you this interviewing process in the training if you want to make money as an email alchemist for hire. And I'm going to hook you up with a partner if you're writing these campaigns for your own business, because it can be really difficult sometimes pulling the hooks and the stories out of your own business. For some reason, you're blind to them. Because, this divining of the core complex of the driving values of the people on the list, most likely to respond to your offer, it's really the most important thing when you're writing a campaign or adapting a bunch of templates for creating a campaign. And when you get in the members area, you're going to see a number of different worksheets for doing this. In the template section, you'll find a questionnaire for each campaign. And if you answer those questionnaires, you're going to get at the core complex of the list that you're working. And you'll see how that works in a few minutes. And you also want to pay a great deal of attention to offer. Extremely important. You want to build as much value into your offer as possible, because you want to be selling with a nice meaty price tag, right? You got a powerful tool of persuasion in your hands here. You got heavy artillery. It's capable of moving some serious product. Well, you want to leverage that. And there's a kind of a sweet spot in terms of the price point for every campaign, a price point that it's going to deliver the biggest bang for your marketing efforts. And clearly we seem to have hit it here with the $2,000 ticket. And I will tell you this, the sweet spot is typically higher than you think it is. Chances are you can raise your prices. Wouldn't that be nice? Raise your prices when you start using this and start selling more expensive, higher margin products or services. So we ended up bundling several things in with the Accelerator. John threw in some awesome videos from high-level presentations. There was a course on how to create an info product in 30 days, which I think made a brilliant bonus. And I threw in some, a special workshop on email alchemy for everyone who paid in full. And this concept of creating an irresistible offer doesn't sound like email marketing, but it's very important. Very important. Limited by time, perhaps also limited by quantity, or even completely withdrawing the offer after the email campaign, as we did in this particular one. It's really an integral part of the whole email alchemy process. So with that in mind, let's look at these subject lines. Starting soon, Coke profits. 3 ideas, key ideas when you're writing subject lines: attention, curiosity, and tie-in or relevant benefit. If you want to maximize your conversion, you need all 3 in most of your emails. Attention, curiosity, and relevant benefit. Tie-in to relevant benefit. You don't have a lot of space, and your most economical tool for generating attention and curiosity is what's known as a pattern interrupt. Pattern interrupt. And one way to create a pattern interrupt is to talk about something illegal or illicit. I actually have dozens of different types of pattern interrupts or hook concepts for drawing attention and stimulating curiosity that I'll share with you in Module 2 of this course. And this particular one here, it's a pun, right? The email is actually about Coca-Cola, not cocaine. And of course, profit is the tie-in, right? And you see in a lot of these subject lines, I often use brackets around keywords to draw the eye into something that they can immediately fixate on when the person is scanning quickly through their inbox. So the brackets make it so you can't look there without reading it. Breaks it up. Starting soon. Coke profits. You can't not read it. A lot of these imply some sort of unusual story that I'll use in the deepening part of the email. Workshop now. Workshop now. Billion sold. Kick McDonald's marketing butt. You know, talking about McDonald's in an email about software from a marketing guru like John Benson. It's a pattern interrupt, right? Billion sold is the tie-in. This is about money. Sold out. Replay of the ages. 3 days only. And the pattern interrupt here is the word sold out because there was nothing for sale on this particular webinar. So immediately this creates the impression that, you know, you've missed out on something, and people they open it up. Not just because, you know, they want to see the replay, but also to find out, you know, what the hell's going on. It's a surprise, right? Pre-lockup photo. Pre-lockup photo? Your $800 million in profits from insane marketing genius? How can you not open that? So let's look at the next phase of the formula, what I call the opening. And once we get the campaign going, then I've got a lot of balls bouncing around in the air. I'm often putting one of these things here on top of the salutation, kind of like a condensed bullet list, like you'd see in the deck copy of a sales letter. 2 free downloads at link, 1 day only, major announcements, specific location of advanced new headline formulas, pre-lockup photo of Mad Marketing Genius, how to grab the $497 profit-filled freebie. It's the same kind of abbreviated language that you see in a newspaper headline, right? It's called telegraphing. And then in the running copy of the email, I begin framing John as a madman, and that's the tie-in to the pattern interrupt in the subject line. I begin telling them the story of his antics. First name, the men in white coats are hot on my trail. You see how I've intentionally truncated that sentence in a way that begets the question, why? Because Tuesday, I really went off the rails. Every sentence, you know, it's a point of decision. Point of decision. I could have easily combined these first 2 sentences into one, but people don't stop reading in the middle of a sentence, do they? Now I've literally forced them to make a second decision to keep reading. And each time you do that, you create momentum for continued reading. So I'm hiding out in a friend's backyard. Guess who? Watching for their van and their dog catcher's net after Tuesday's over-the-top giveaway workshop. Look at the breadcrumbs I'm dropping here. Guess who? And whose van? And why the van and the dog catcher's net? You see, I'm seeding questions in the reader's mind. And this has the effect of propelling them further and further down into the email. The reason is, no one can believe that one simple mind map could totally transform and automate every aspect of their marketing. You see how I'm giving them just enough of the answer for it to make sense, but at the same time I'm dropping even more breadcrumbs. How could one simple mind map totally transform and automate? Massive product claims, by the way, innocently weaved into the story. And if such a mind map did miraculously exist, it should cost your firstborn and an arm and a leg. You see how the slight tongue-in-cheek humor allows me to get away with those over-the-top claims? Actually gives them more credence. And this little story, it acts like a tractor beam that pulls people into the email. The opening is extremely important. I've got their attention with the subject line, but that's only part of the battle. We're not tracking open rates, right? We're tracking sales. And if you want sales, you need engagement. They've got to get into a groove. So I'm extremely strategic here in transforming attention, which is momentary, into interest, which is sustained. You know, we all think like a locomotive, right? A mind in motion tends to stay in motion and moving in the same direction. So every sentence is planting some kind of expectation of future payoff, building momentum. And setting up that momentum is the prime purpose of that opening phase of the email. Yet at Tuesday's groundbreaking workshop, the mind map of the century was revealed, and it's free. So you see how I'm transitioning here into the pitch with this bridge sentence. so they think I'm certifiably insane. I'm gluing the story and the pitch together. Keep that momentum going. As if I'm handing out $1,000 bills in Times Square. It's much more valuable than that. To make matters worse, the revolutionary replay with step-by-step, take-you-by-the-hand details and the free downloadable mind maps is at this link. So there's no point hiding the evidence. And the call to action? Go see for yourself. So you can vouch for me if they discover my hideout. So you have the pitch and the story, connected at the hip, wound together. And then I pitch them some more with these fascinations, with timestamps. See the timestamps? For added believability, when you tell them exactly where they can find the answer to the riddle, they're more likely to believe it's not some kind of bullshit that you pulled out of your ass. I've kind of cycled through the subject line, opening, pitch, call to action formula very quickly in this particular email. And the reason I did that was I felt that I had such a strong subject line with a reference to the photo inside that I get some nice committed clicks relatively quickly and easily here, then I could cycle back and I could get even more. And this is the classic deepening phase of the email right here. It's a dissociative story. Stimulation of the active imagination. Back to our story. Oh no, they caught me. They grabbed my ankle as I was slithering under the fence at Andy Jenkins' house. I thought I'd be safe there, but apparently they patrol this area constantly. Now I'm in their van, on my way to lockup. No help from that loser, Jenkins. And they claim they could put me away forever with this picture as evidence. But wait, it turns out my two captors are both closet marketers. So this is really just classic yarn spinning, right? Giving the reader a steady stream of moving images with surprising little twists and turns of fate and buying conclusions inserted into the narrative. They said they'd let me go if I give them real-world examples so their marketing is systematized and automatic. Just what I claim is possible with the new 3Accelerator, available for the first time this Saturday at the live demo, which takes you deeper. So I explained that my techniques, strategies, and systems are already responsible for $800 million in sales, and if they'll hang on till this Saturday, I've agreed to take them much deeper into the automatic skill set that operates unseen in the inner recesses of all A-list copywriters' brains. And this paragraph here, finally, you don't have to read a single marketing book or go to that insanely expensive copywriting seminar to create words that get cash. I bridged them from the deepening phase back to the pitch. And another call to action. Grab your ticket to see the all-new 3Accelerator in action. So again, the deepening is the part of the email where you whisper suggestions into the reader's unconscious mind, suggestions that ride under a story or a narrative or an image. And then unlike typical storytelling, in the pitch, you reveal the subtext. You speak directly to the reader's critical, conscious, reasoning mind, and then you call for action. So I know this is pretty heavy shit, but we're going to learn how to do this step by step in Module 2, from researching the market, from pulling all the selling points out of the product or service that you're selling, angling for objections, countering them, creating a theme and a basic storyline for your series, hooks for each email, subject line, opening, deepening, pitch, close, all the rest of it. Okay, so we looked at an email from the perspective of making the sale from within the email, selling not just the click, in other words, but creating a strong commitment to following through on a specific action as a result of making the click, and giving people ample reasoning to do this, right, through the indirect and direct communication of benefit, things that they get if they follow through, advantages that they'll accrue. But if you do this, if this is, buy this and you get that. If that's all you do, sign up for this and you'll get that. If that's all your email is doing, you're going to burn out your list. Okay? You need to integrate another crucially important element into your emails that neutralizes that effect. Okay? I call the second principle secondary reward. And that secondary reward is the intellectual stimulation and emotional satisfaction that a reader gets, enjoys, simply by reading the emails and maintaining a relationship with the person sending them, even if they never speak to you or interact with that person other than reading the emails. And the secondary reward in that email that we looked at was obvious, right? It's when you have a zany, wild, crazy story to tell, it has entertainment value. People are bored. They're actually looking for a diversion. And checking your email is a diversion. It's almost an addiction for people because it takes them away from the strain and the stress and the tedium of the mundane world, right? Checking their email is an escape, and it's an excusable escape at that. They're not goofing off. They're checking their email. And if you satisfy that desire in your emails, you're going to become very welcome when you arrive in the inbox. What I don't mean by secondary reward, however, is hard teaching, right? We're not talking about hard thinking here. We're talking about keeping it light and fun and entertaining, and also inspirational and encouraging and philosophical too. Not hard facts and teachings, but broad concepts and maxims. So stories, beguiling word pictures, short, narrow sentences, and paragraphs that are pleasurable to read, creating a pleasing rhythm and a musical sound in the person's head as they sub-vocalize the words of the email. Let's look what I'm talking about here real quick. Unveiling at 1 p.m. Better sales letters on beach with iPhone. That's the subject line. And that's a fascinating image, isn't it? Offers a secondary reward. People are scanning their email looking for a diversion, an escape. Well, there it is, sitting on the beach. Hey, first name. Who could have seen it coming? Instead of years of excruciating study of sales and marketing, instead of never-ending trial and error in the marketplace, mostly error, instead of countless fits and starts hiring questionable consultants and marketing experts, you see the pleasing hypnotic rhythm that I'm setting up there by starting each sentence with the same word? Why not less work and more predictable, cheaper, easier, and infinitely more profitable results? You see how the strategic uppercase, not overused, but once in a while, brings the copy to life? Or let me ask you this. Who would you pick in the following marketing cage fight? Group number one, take marketing legends Claude Hopkins, David Ogilvy, Robert Collier, Max Sackheim, and John Caples, and put them in a room with brand new MacBooks. Group two, right next door, take the owner of a hardware store, a Starbucks manager, a stay-at-home dad, a high school senior, and a dog trainer, and then put them in a room with my new automated sales letter generator, the 3Accelerator. Watching each other on monitors, see who can produce 10 video sales letters the fastest, and which one sells best when put to the test. You see how I've painted an entertaining, intriguing, and instructive picture in your mind? I've used a metaphor to take something that's abstract, formless, and I've magically transformed it into something that you can experience with your senses. You're right there. You can see it. Which way of communicating is more rewarding to the reader? Whose emails are they going to continue opening and continue reading? So in Module 3, we're going to drill deeply into this principle number 2, this idea of secondary reward. Edutainment, having fun with your subscribers, giving your copy a pleasing rhythm through the creative use of repetition, alliteration, even a little rhyme here and there, right? See, which one sells best when put to the test? You see, you don't even notice it's there, but it's got a pleasing rhythm and it rhymes, right? So a little rhyme here and there, even humor, some advanced stuff, social commentary, allegory, storytelling, all this stuff, whole host of devices. Third principle of email alchemy is serialization. Email is a very, very forgiving medium. It's not like we're putting all of our eggs in one basket with a sales letter or a video that we're agonizing over for weeks and testing and tweaking and trying to make it perfect. You got multiple opportunities to generate a sale with email. You can come at each one of those opportunities from a different angle. And no email is an island, right? They're all working together to raise awareness and gradually wear down resistance. At the most basic level, you build your series around a topic that you're going to talk about for a defined period of days. Even better, put a theme around your topic. And sometimes, though I didn't do this in this particular campaign for John Benson, you even tie all of your emails together into an ongoing narrative, like a soap opera. And I'll typically do that when there's no natural timeline of events, right? Here we have a series of 3 webinars, right? So there's an ebb and a flow, there's a build-up and an aftermath for each webinar. It creates a natural sort of a storyline for people. But if I'm selling right off of a single landing page or an order form, I'm more likely to tie everything together into a premeditated serial narrative, something like a soap opera. And you may have heard this idea before, when it comes to email, but here's where my approach is a little bit different. I'm not talking about leaving big cliffhangers at the end of each email so that they're going to open the next email, trying to get people to anticipate the next email. Sometimes I'll do that, maybe before the campaign gets officially underway, but not as a general rule. I don't like to waste attention. It's the most precious commodity. I want to sell people in every email on taking some kind of action that advances the sale. But what I will do is I create this sort of a dual track through a series that poses a primary problem that I solve in the email, and then I call for action. And then I'll come back again with a secondary problem in the next email. And this creates a similar sort of effect, but with amped up sales, which is, I'm sure, what you want. And we're going to dig into this whole idea, this whole series storytelling piece in Module 4. But now, let's shift gears for a few minutes so that I can give you a brief overview of the full Email Alchemy Track 1 course and show you the templating feature that I built in to make it easier for you. I'm going to shorten your learning curve dramatically, going to get you to the money really quickly with this. This particular webinar that we're on here, it's the first of 4 2-hour modules. Today we just touched on the 3 principles, right? How to make the sale in the email, secondary reward, power of serialization. Modules 2, 3, and 4 are pre-recorded 90-minute deep dives in each one of these concepts, step-by-step instruction. It's going to allow you to integrate Email Alchemy into your marketing. Each webinar has a hot seat and a Q&A session at the end, so you're going to have a chance to see the concepts in action, not just in these case studies, but in other niches as well. And just so you know, these case studies have nothing to do with internet marketing. Email Alchemy works for all kinds of niches. You're going to see me selling to real estate agents and insurance salespeople and young housewives and female gym rats. What I teach in this course applies to your business. I guarantee it. Applies to your client's business as well. A huge part of Email Alchemy also revolves around using customer testimonials and success stories. So I'm also going to give you what I believe to be the most comprehensive process for collecting those testimonials and success stories from your clients and from customers. Like Email Alchemy, you can also implement this for your clients, right? If you're a marketing consultant, if you're a freelancer or a service provider, this is called the Testimonial and Case Study Dynamite Report. And believe it or not, this bonus report has sold for as much as $1,500 all on its own. So you can have it for free when you sign up for Email Alchemy. The core modules are released 2 weeks apart, and there are also homework assignments between modules. The items in part 1 of your bonus pack that I told you about at the beginning of this webinar will start you off with a rich collection of proven opening lines, subject lines, similes, metaphors, idioms, copy checklists, like a massive swipe file. In fact, even if you don't enroll in Email Alchemy today, I'm going to give you part 1 at the end of this webinar as my thank you for investing in yourself by attending this training. And when you invest in the remaining 4 modules, you'll get the complete 4-part bonus pack set. This is the overview that we're on right now. Actually, you're going to see me teach the core principles again with a different case study in the members area to embed the process still deeper. And then sandwiched in between now and the second module, exactly 1 week from today, a supplementary module is going to open up, and inside you're going to find a templates tab. It's going to become available to you in the members area, and you're going to have 10 pre-done templates, sales generating masterpieces that you can adapt and use for your own business, for affiliate marketing, to make sales of your own products or services of any kind. And if you're a marketing consultant or a copywriter or something of that nature, you can also sell email marketing services to other businesses. The only limitation is you don't have permission to use the Email Alchemy brand or these particular templates for client work. You can't resell them to clients or use the Email Alchemy name. We have other higher end products for that I'll tell you about after you get on board. And if you want to upgrade to any of those, I'll actually rebate your entire investment in this entry-level course. This is kind of like the foundation, the cornerstone. Everybody's got to get this before they move on. Now, these templates, these are like nothing you've ever seen before in your life. These are painstakingly designed to not only deliver the persuasive email alchemy punch, but also to be extremely flexible because they're built on universal persuasion themes that can be easily adapted to selling just about anything with all of the email alchemy firepower built in. You're actually going to see 2 complete campaigns as soon as you get in the members area. You're going to see a 3-part series. It's there. It's for generating sales inquiries for service businesses. If you sell a service of any kind, these templates are literally plug and play for getting a powerful lead generating email alchemy series locked and loaded incredibly quickly. You're also going to see a 7-part campaign in there. It's out of the box for selling info products and affiliate products in this package. Again, these are carefully selected universal persuasion themes that are flexible enough that they can be easily adapted to selling almost any kind of informational product. The same kind of intensity that generates their massive results that you're seeing in the case studies that you're studying. In fact, as you'll see in a moment here, I'm going to show you, all of these templates are built on themes that are so universal that product templates could even be adapted to selling services, and the services templates adapted to selling products. Both could be adapted to selling hard goods even. So with a little extra work, you could have a 10-part campaign up and running for any one of those, right? If you sell affiliate products, same thing. I've actually given you examples in the members area for 7 of the top selling ClickBank products, so you can see exactly how that works. And the fact is, if you sell a service, well, then you ought to be building your list with informational products, even if they're free products. And if you create informational products, then you ought to be creating high-ticket service back end, right? Whether it be coaching or consulting or what have you. So there's plenty of horsepower for you here to build your business regardless. And you can start amping up your sales with the power of the proven email alchemy subject, opening, pitch, call to action formula, responsible, exactly the same thing, responsible for generating that 400,000 plus sales infusion for John Benson in less than 2 weeks. So here's how it works. For every campaign inside of the members area, there's a questionnaire. Looks like that. You just fill out this questionnaire about the product or service that you're selling, and each answer is numbered. And this is an actual questionnaire that one of my students filled out. He sells an investment newsletter for the red-hot Indian stock market. You'll see other videos in there that show different examples for consultants and social media marketing people and all kinds of different fields. You take your inputs from this questionnaire and you just insert them into the subject line, opening, deepening, pitch, call to action sections of the templates. It's like paint by numbers. Input number 0 goes here, right? And the subject line becomes most hated Warren Buffett secret. And the opening is completely done for you in this one. You don't have to change a single word. Now, the deepening. And we have some inputs. A bit harsh, maybe, but it perfectly describes one of blank number 0, Warren Buffett's prescriptions for, from blank number 1, compounding your capital. Also from blank number 1, which is essentially a benefit list, saving loads of time analyzing companies. And again from blank number 1, achieving investment returns that astonish even your most accomplished investor friends. And the most hated secret at that. Because despite the incredible power of this simple technique, 2, from blank number 2, slash the number of losing trades, and transform also from blank number 2, things to move away from, massive losses, into, from blank number 1, it's a benefit list again, right? True financial freedom and security for your family. It can be like dirty dancing with the devil. Or if you don't want to use a religious connotation, you can just substitute a different simile, like trying to pull a tooth out of a rabid dog's mouth or something like that. You got hundreds of different similes to pull from in the bonus packs. And so on and so forth, on down the line to the remaining sections of the email. And when he was done, it read like this. Subject line, most hated Warren Buffett secret, number 1 of 7 secret series. First name, there's an old joke, which isn't really a joke at all. where a woman goes groveling up to Ravi Shankar after a National Center for the Performing Arts concert. He's selling to the Indian market, right? So he's customized this a little bit. She's nearly swooning as she waits to tell him how much she loved his performance. When she's finally close enough, she gushes, "I'd give anything to be able to play like that." And his nasty reply, "No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't give anything to play like that, or you would be playing like that." A bit harsh? Maybe. But it perfectly describes one of Warren Buffett's prescriptions for consistently compounding your capital, saving loads of time analyzing companies, and achieving returns that astonish even your most accomplished investor friends, and the most hated secret at that. Because despite the incredible power of this simple technique to slash the number of losing trades and transform massive losses into true financial freedom and security for your family, it can be like trying to pull a tooth from a rabid dog's mouth. Still, Warren says you gotta do it if you want to go from rank amateur who constantly struggles to make money in the markets to savvy investor quietly compounding your wealth. The technique is well known: to buy high quality but boring companies and hold them for years. Now, do you see how this email uses a universal selling idea, concept, that can be applied to just about any kind of information product that teaches you or helps you to do something? Look, here's the exact same template used to sell a top-selling ClickBank product. It's called Old School, New Body. Maybe you've heard of it. Just about the farthest thing away from an investment newsletter. Subject line: Most Hated Bill Phillips Secret, #1 of 7 Secret series. First name: there's an old joke, which isn't really a joke at all, where a woman goes groveling up to a piano virtuoso after a Carnegie Hall concert. It could be a Rolling Stones concert, right? There's an old joke where this guy sneaks backstage at a Rolling Stones concert. Whatever fits the thing you're selling. She's nearly swooning as she waits to tell him how much she loved his performance. When she's finally close enough, she gushes, "I'd give anything to be able to play like that." And his nasty reply, "No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't give anything to play like that, or you would be playing like that." A bit harsh? Maybe. But it perfectly describes one of Bill Phillips' prescriptions for looking young, getting fit, and staying healthy, and the most hated one at that. Because despite the incredible power of this simple technique to slash 10 years off your biological age and transform a flabby and failing physique into a vision of youthful vigor and vitality, it's like dirty dancing with the devil. Still, man or woman, Bill says you got to do it if you want to go from a forever struggling fitness wannabe to the top of your strength and endurance game with a body that stops traffic and drops jaws. The technique is well known: to push yourself to the max in short bursts of intense resistance training. So you see how that works, guys? You see that? Realize I would charge no less than $17,500 to write a custom 10-part campaign for you. You know, even a half-decent regular copywriter, you're going to charge you probably a couple of $1,000s to write a 10-part campaign for you. And it wouldn't pull like these. And here, you can review the first module of the course. You can do the homework exercises. When the templates arrive next week, you can devote a day to adapting the templates. You can have a series up and running the very next day, literally. And the process of adapting these templates will shorten your learning curve when it comes to writing the emails like this from scratch. So you can go and you can sell these emails to other businesses, just like I do. Between the rest of the modules and adapting the templates, you'll be burning the skill into your neurology, and it'll make you infinitely better at writing. You'll be an infinitely better email persuader. In Module 2 of the Email Alchemy Track 1, we're going to be looking at making the sale in the email and the prep that goes into digging out all of the prime features, the advantages, the benefits, the values, and the identifications that you can use to sell your product or service, whatever product or service a client retains you for, to write emails, how to delve into the headspace of the buyer, how to bring the product or service together with their deepest needs and desires. And actually in Module 2, you'll have an opportunity to pair off with a partner, and you'll be able to interview each other using my hot hook extraction worksheet. And this tool helps you to isolate all of the reasons that people will buy a given product or service, helps you to inject personality and character into your emails and to demonstrate your competence, your integrity, your affinity with the buyer. Plus, you're going to have part 2 of the bonus bundle that you're getting today. We're also going to look at all of my best engagement tactics for pulling the reader deeper and deeper into your emails, cliffhangers, from word to word, sentence to sentence, paragraph to paragraph. We're going to build more clarity, more believability into your writing, creating a tighter logical linkage between one idea and the next, all of that stuff, all of the key secrets for creating committed clicks to the landing page that result in sales or leads or whatever it is you're after. 2 weeks later, we're going to open up Module 3, and this is, I'll look at the secondary reward that we talked about, how to infuse your emails with edutainment value, how to write them in such a way that people enjoy reading them so that you can send far more emails. Very important. Secondary reward allows you to send more emails, allows you to make more sales because you're in touch far more frequently than competitors, and you do it without burning out the list, without worrying about burning out your list. And of course, you're going to get part 3 of the bonus bundle, even more subject lines, more introductory sentences, and I'm going to introduce you to my email starter and campaign planner worksheets and templates for quickly and easily building these email alchemy campaigns. Templates not just for the emails, but are actually mapping out campaign structure. And then finally, 2 weeks after that, Module 4, the power of serialization becomes available. And here's where you're going to learn how to tell a good story, how to create an imminent crisis or a conflict that analogizes a problem that you're helping the reader to solve, and then driving them to the click to solve it, how to associate human growth and change with the purchase of a product or service, through the character arc of the story's hero from one email to the next. I'm going to give you a special story scene beat sheet for mapping out an exciting and satisfying sort of roller coaster ride through a series, and where to find the best themes and stories to tell that make your selling unique and superior, whatever it is you're selling, unique and superior to competing alternatives. So Email Alchemy Track 1 is just $997, but I'll let you knock $500 off by getting your enrollment taken care of before October the 3rd, so you don't have long for that. I'm going to knock $500 off that investment, so just $497 for the next few days only, which when you think about it, is really a ridiculously great value for everything you're getting here. You know, if you can't make that back on your very first campaign, you're just not paying attention. Many people make 10 times that on their first campaign. And just to allay any fears that you may have about whether you'll be able to follow along in the course and get the results, check out this email that I received when I first released this course from someone who had exactly the same kind of fears, but he set them aside. He took the Email Alchemy training, and this is even without the new templates. He didn't have that luxury when I first released this. And he says, "Hey, Daniel, hope everything's going well with you. I just want you to know that I've gotten a ton of value out of your Email Alchemy course. We have Levis-style email promos in our arsenal, do them regularly, and have for the past year. 2 of them brought in $8,040 and $2,673 in sales respectively, but I saved the best for last." So he's already 16 times his investment back to him. Recently, there was a big affiliate contest in my niche, and I created a Levis email sequence that brought in $9,906.57 in affiliate commissions, plus made us win the contest and another $1,500 bonus. And so look, he's like 22 times his investment back to him from just 2 uses. That's a tremendous ROI that you get from this. And this is really what I live for, giving folks like you the tools and the strategies for success. So just to summarize, okay, it's $997, but when you hop on board during this special promotion, I'm going to give you a promo code to knock $500 off. You're getting 4 more 2-hour training modules, 10 sizzling hot royalty-free email templates for moving your own products and services. Everything is recorded in MP4, so you can watch it as many times as you want on demand. You're going to have it on MP3 as well, so you can listen. You're going to have a transcript for each module as well, plus you're also going to have the 4 parts of the bonus bundle and all of the worksheets paired up with a partner for hook extraction, and also the testimonial and case study dynamite report. So here's the link. and the promo code. And let's see if we can get that out into the chat. I wonder if I can call on you, Ron, to do that.
Yeah, I'll type that into the chat.
So you're going to have that, and I wonder if somebody could just click on it and make sure that it's working.
Okay. Yep, there it is into the chat.
Okay. Could somebody type something in?
Works for me.
Okay, cool. Works for you. So there's the link. There's the promo code. You should have it now. We've been at this for, 90 minutes? So thankfully, by now, you've seen why email is still the killer marketing app. You've seen how a short 10 to 15-day email alchemy campaign will routinely pull in $3 per subscriber, as much as $16 per subscriber and more, and how that means that you can generate a six-figure income with this. A six-figure income. Generate a six-figure income with this from a tiny little list of just 1,500 names. Or a seven-figure income from just 15,000 names. Or if you're a copywriter or a marketing consultant, you can go from four-figure clients to five or even six-figure clients. Imagine the freedom that kind of income growth can bring you, or the impact you can have in your market and the people that you can help. Of course, by now you've seen the email marketing myths and why it's not your fault. You haven't yet experienced this kind of success. You've seen why copying the gurus in your niche can't possibly give you those kinds of mind-blowing results, and how you can steal a march on them instead with email alchemy. By now, you've seen how cheap and easy email alchemy is, and how you can create rapid growth without spending a fortune on the Hollywood-style videos and the fancy pants web page graphics and all of the rest of expensive hoopla, marketing hoopla. You've seen how people just like you are raking in cash like there's no tomorrow, as much as $400,000 in as little as 2 weeks' time. Documented proof. You've seen them doing it with relatively small lists. And by now, you've seen how you can get involved with email alchemy for $500 off the regular rate when you invest now. Even at the regular $997 price, it's a hell of a bargain. Because remember, you're getting full-blown, done-for-you templates. These templates are not some kind of two-paragraph long guru trite. They're long copy, email alchemy, hypnotic persuasion with the full subject, opening, deepening, pitch, call to action formula baked in, proven to convert. Again, realize you would pay many thousands of dollars to me just to custom write emails for you. Never mind all of the amazing email alchemy training you're getting. So would you like to get your email marketing taken care of at $500 off? Or would you feel more comfortable waiting and paying the regular price? Sure, you can go to my website anytime you want. You can grab all of this for just $997. But this webinar is the one and only place you can get it for just $497 for the next few days only during the special promotion. So why wait? And oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you about the guarantee. This is an amazing guarantee. Go ahead and try email alchemy risk-free for up to 365 days. You're guaranteed a 30-to-1 return on your investment. That means if email alchemy doesn't give you at the very least $30,000 in top-line revenue over the next year, and you saw how easily Ron Reich was able to achieve that, this is money that you wouldn't have otherwise enjoyed, okay? Ask for your money back, and I'll give it to you. All I'm asking you to do is put email alchemy to the test in your business and then decide.